Kia ora koutou. My name is Emma. I am a health improvement practitioner, and I am lucky enough to be based at Tawa Medical Centre and Linden Surgery, which are medical practices just north of Wellington. Today I'm talking very briefly with you to just centre you in on your own well-being. We've heard that word already this morning once or twice. I'm interested to know, prior to coming today, how many people have either read or listened to something related to well-being this week? Yeah, a fair few. Keep your hand up if you feel an expert in it for yourself. Yeah, none of us are experts. It's a constantly changing experience. And when I became a health improvement practitioner, I thought I knew a little bit about health and my own well-being, but actually this role has been the one that has challenged me the most with my own well-being. So I'm a little further with my understanding now than I was. So what I want to do to start off with is just explain a bit about what a health improvement practitioner is. We're often referred to as HIPs because it's easier to say. So HIPs are essentially all registered health professionals of some kind. You've already heard that my background is I'm a registered mental health nurse, but HIPs can be social workers, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, midwives. We've got quite a broad range. A health improvement practitioner is based in a medical practice, and they see people of any age who are just wanting to improve their physical or their mental health. The focus is mainly on the mild to moderate end of the mental health. A brief on what a HIP does. One-to-one consults for patients. So we see patients for around 30 minutes. It's a fully funded consult. There's no charge to the patient. And generally what I'm doing or what I'm seeing patients for is supporting them with stress, with their mood, with anxiety, but it can be a lot broader than that. People who are struggling to make changes with lifestyle, who have diabetes, for example. Also, HIPs are able to meet the needs of the population in other ways. So while I've been at Tawa and Linden, I have run online seminars addressing sleep and stress, anxiety. I've also run groups. I had a bit of a run of very stressed mothers coming to see me. All of whom had children with high needs. So I put together a 4-week course for those mothers to meet. I'm currently running a healthy brain group, which is for people who are concerned about changes to their memory or thinking. So these are some of the examples of what a HIP can do. One of the other things that we do is we provide education for the practice. So my area of expertise is cognitive impairment and dementia. So I've been able to support the practice with resources, and that's partly where that healthy brain group idea came from. One of the things that I did a wee while ago was a very short, simple presentation around well-being, because as we know, medical practices, the team have really been under the pump, to say the least. What I put together for the team was something that I called restoration in the workplace. And it was based on a piece of work that I found by Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith, 7 Types of Rest. Has anyone here heard of this? Can you give me an indication? Couple of people? Yeah. So Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith is a GP who became exhausted, experienced burnout, and she found that no amount of lying down or sleep was actually bringing her back up. And she came up with this idea that actually rest is more complex than just resting the body. There's more to it. And she created this idea of, it's not moving. Sorry, I thought it had moved. There she is. She created this idea that there are 7 types of rest that we need to be considering or attending to in order to be well. This is a kind of a starting point for many of the conversations I have with the patients that I meet. And it's actually something that has really helped me as a health improvement practitioner to stay well. I looked at these 7 and could see that there were 4 that were particularly relevant to the medical practice setting, and actually relevant to a symposium. So I will be sharing these with you today. So this is just 4 of the types of rest that Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith talks about. So I have a question. I'm going to come back to this, but I have a question for you. How do you expect to feel at the end of today? Will you be ready to leap about? Or do you think you might be feeling more like this? And how would you like to feel? How would you like to feel at the end of today? So thinking back now to those 4 areas of challenge, how might you feel challenged? The biggest challenge I've experienced being a hip is having to sit down all day. That has been a huge challenge for me. But for some of you who are very busy and active in your jobs usually, maybe sitting down today is going to be a welcome rest. How about mentally? Are you feeling like this is just what you need to spark your ideas and really lift you? Or is your brain already really full and you're thinking, how am I going to manage more? And then we have socially. We're all sitting here in a fairly small room, quite close together. For some people, particularly those who have recently been isolating at home, this might feel fabulous to finally be able to be amongst people. But for others, the closeness of being with so many people can be tiring. And then the last one I have here is sensory overload. We had a beautiful start to our day today. Our senses were just so nourished with the beautiful waiata and the beautiful words. How might we keep that feeling through today, even though our senses are being bombarded with PowerPoints? So today could be an opportunity to try out being aware of and prioritizing your well-being. Ending the day with a bit of energy. So coming back to the 4 types of rest, looking at these 4, which one of these are you thinking you might need to prioritize today for you? Just take a moment to share that awareness with people near you if you're comfortable doing so. Which one of those is feeling like the one that you're going to need a little bit of care around? thank you for that. I'm going to share some ideas for how you might care for yourself today. You don't have to sit all day. You could actually stand up. You're allowed. So if sitting's uncomfortable and difficult for you, you can stand at the edge, you can stand at the back. If you're feeling overwhelmed with the people, with the noise, you can leave the room. Just stepping out of that door gives you the most stunning view and a distant view out across our harbour. A distant view is one of the best things you can do to just calm and settle your brain. It's just there. Or you could look out the window. It's a little shaded, but we can get a bit of a feel for it. Move your body, stretch, walk, do what you're needing to do. I'd like to just invite you to try out palming, which is a very simple exercise which can be extremely calming to the brain. If you give this a go with me, you can do it by just simply putting your hands over your eyes, or if you want to really turbocharge it, just give your hands a really good rub together so they get a bit of warmth. And then just placing them over your eyes and just allowing the warmth in there. You can have your eyes closed or your eyes open, whichever you feel, just allowing the quiet to just be. And then when you feel ready, moving your hands away. These little brief moments, what I call rest snacks, are the things that help us keep our energy up through the day, and they really, really matter. We tend to think when we get home we'll rest, or at the weekend we'll rest, when actually it's those little things that we do during the day that can so make a difference to how we are. I finish with this little quote here, a very old quote. So what I've shared with you today possibly isn't new information or news to you, but I'm hoping that a prompt right at the start of the day and the invitation perhaps to be a little mindful of yourself through the day may make a difference to how you feel and may enable you to have the kind of evening that you'd like to have. Wish you well through the morning. Ngā mihi.